Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with Amy at withwonderfulwomen on Instagram, and also member of the podcast alumni, I guess you could call it. She's been on my podcast, so as a quick plug, if you want, you can follow me on Instagram, you can follow Amy on Instagram. The links will be in the description below. Also, please have a listen to my podcast. It's kind of new, it's been out for a few weeks. Amy features in episode 3 talking all about her experience doing a midwifery apprenticeship to get onto the course, which is a really interesting episode. So yeah, if you want to hear more from us, do that. Also, please like and subscribe to me. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, subscribe now.
What are you doing?
Like the video, whatever, leave a comment, let me know how you're doing. Now we've got all of that out of the way, we're going to jump into today's video. Today we're talking about our top 10 tips for new first years starting the course. And yeah, if you don't know who Amy is, and if you don't know who I am, I've just finished my midwifery degree, and Amy is just about to start her 3rd year. So that's our background. So yeah, we've got 10 top tips for you, and we're just going to jump right into it, I guess. So the first tip that we've got here is register with the RCM. The RCM is the Royal College of Midwives. They are like a union for midwives, and you can have a membership as a student. They provide you with like support. There's like e-learning that you can do, lots of resources, and like they offer like normal union support and stuff.
It's really cheap to join. It's like what, £3 a month?
Honestly, I don't know.
It's really affordable.
Yeah.
Do they send you magazines as well?
Yes, yeah. I knew it was something else I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's not. I think it's like four times a year you get a magazine.
Oh yeah, it might be.
Like quarterly, or with the seasons or whatever. They give like magazines, and that's got good resources in as well. And yeah, most people will be members of an RCM, and when you join you get like a little membership bag full of freebies and stuff, and they're usually quite useful. You usually get like a little gestation wheel, some pens, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, join the RCM. Our next tip, start or join your MidSoc. Now, me and Lucy have both been part of MidSoc. I'm currently the president of my MidSoc, and Lucy was our social media officer for 2 years. 2 years running. So if your university has a MidSoc, a midwifery society, join it. It will be the best thing you ever do. Not only does it look great on your CV, you can learn loads of skills. You're meeting new people from your cohorts if you have different campuses. You could be treasurer, president, social media, even just a cohort rep, and you can, you do study days. Yeah, even if you don't want to be on the committee.
Yeah,
even if you don't
want
to be
a member.
There's so much stuff to do,
It's really, really good, and if there isn't one, then start one. Join the community. We love a MidSoc, and we all follow each other on Instagram, and we hype each other up, and we collaborate, so it's a really, really fun thing to do. Yeah, you get so much extra learning just from being in a midwifery society. They are fabulous. So our next tip is to read and get to know the NMC code. So the NMC, the Nursing Midwifery Council, if you've got a place on like a course at university, I'm sure you already know what the NMC is, and you're probably already aware of the code, but our advice is to get to know it. So it's split into like 4 parts about people. It's like 4 Ps. I'm not gonna lie, I can't reel them off the top of my head. Preserve, safety,
prioritizing people, practice effectively, and something else. But yeah,
we should know this.
Yeah, but get to know it. Like, have it as a resource, have it as a tab on your computer, have it as like saved somewhere where you know you can go back to it, because it is the fundamentals of all your practice. You have to follow it, and you should really be referencing it in most of your assignments and reflections as well. So get to know it, get familiar with it, so you know exactly a quick reference. Like for assignments and things for me, if I've known that something's in my head, I'm like, oh, that links to the code, I'll know to just reference it. Especially it's a good thing to like reference in an introduction and a conclusion.
It will be in every assignment you ever write. Everything.
It sets
in
the
your
background
portfolio,
and the
everything.
Yeah, so get to know it. You can find it online, you can download it, you can print it, and yeah, it's really easy to read and really helpful.
Yeah. Right, the next one we've got, get an idea of your demographics. So understand the local area where you're going to be practicing. Even if you don't know specifically your hospital for placement, kind of get to know your area. So is there a large number of non-English speaking women? Is it quite deprived? Is it affluent? Is it diverse? Is it not? Is there a lot of poverty? All these kind of things will help you get an idea of what you need to start focusing on in terms of safeguarding, etc, etc. And you can bring that to lectures, and you can think, okay, well, I've got this scenario, let's apply it to my kind of little area, and then say this is more frequent and I need to learn more about that because it's more relevant. And it just helps really link everything from theory to your practice.
But having an idea of like your local area means that you can provide better women-centered services, and you just have a better idea of like what the needs of women are in your local area. And you can find out that stuff like if you just type in your local council, and there is like a demographic thing. I think they linked it on our Blackboard at the start of like first year. I remember looking at it. If I can find it, I'll link it down below, and you can type in anywhere in the country.
Oh, like a census kind
of like you can type in anywhere in the country, and it like comes up with a map, and it's got all different colours, and it tells you like how deprived your area is and stuff like that. So yeah, look into that, it can be really helpful. So another thing, this is a controversial one, also I've got Amy here. So we recommend using a referencing tool or software. Referencing can be difficult if you've not done it before to get your head around. There's a lot of different components to it, and it's quite a set thing, like you have to get it right, and you'll get graded on your ability to reference, because it is important that people, you know, who've spent a lot of time writing articles, they get the reference and the credit they deserve in your work, and it just shows that you're reading appropriately for your assignments too. But referencing can be difficult, so referencing softwares and tools are available. I personally used Mendeley. It's a downloadable desktop service, and it also can link to your browser, and it literally does your references for you. So you could have a tab open with a journal article, and you can, and so I linked it to Google Chrome. You can like press the toolbar and the like plug-in for it, that's the word I'm looking for, and it will automatically read the article that you have open, create a reference for you in whatever style you need. It'll probably be Harvard referencing, and then send it to your computer basically, over like the internet basically, and then you just like sync it, and you have a reference there for you, and you can link that to Microsoft Word as well. So when you want to reference an article in text, you can be typing, and then you want to put you know, that was done by Davis et al. So you just click the link in your Microsoft Word, and it creates that reference for you, an in-text reference, and then you can create a bibliography at the end, and that would save you so much time. Mendeley crashed Amy's computer.
It's a tough subject.
Amy's,
I mean, the girls swear by it. Lucy,
me and Peggy just,
they live by it, and it is brilliant. It's really, really good. Personally, it kind of broke my laptop.
I think your laptop's fragile in the first place.
Yeah. I think it was the laptop rather than Mendeley. Basically, I lost an assignment. We had a whole situation, and I blamed it on Mendeley. But so I now use citethemright because I'm just too scared to use it again. But citethemright is really, really good. You type in what your source is, whether it's like a website, a book, a blog post, video, anything like that, and it literally tells you what you have to write, and you just type it in over it, and you have your Harvard referencing. Yeah. It takes a little bit longer than Mendeley,
because you have to type it yourself.
Yeah, but it you slowly remember what needs to go where, don't you? You kind of become second
prior
nature.
To using Mendeley, I did have to do my references, which is fine, but it takes time, and I think when you do things which are quite monotonous, like referencing, it's easy to make mistakes. So that's why I say use Mendeley. But then citethemright is a tool which helps you mitigate your mistakes because it tells you what to do.
And even if you kind of get into the swing of things and you kind of know what order things should be in, when the surname is, when the date is, and the website, etc., you can put it into the citethemright, and you can see if it fits and if it's correct. So I really like it. And it's free as well. It's free.
I use citethemright in conjunction sometimes with Mendeley because there are certain things which Mendeley doesn't read, because obviously everything has its downfalls. Like, it's reading a page on the computer, that's way too complex for my brain to work out how on earth it does that. So, and some things it can't read, like things like NMC documents. I was like, how do I do that? But then I worked out how to do it. Like, you can just put it as a report. But some things you can check. And legal documents, actually, I didn't use Mendeley for. So when I was writing my law and ethics essay, when I was referencing specific legal documents, I did use citethemright for that, because that was really confusing.
And to be honest, at your university, you'll probably have a library introduction, and they'll most likely go through all of this with you anyway. So don't freak out. I think you have to kind of teach yourself, because they'll probably.
And if they don't provide you with Mendeley or citethemright, they may provide you with RefWorks. That's what I used when I was at the University of Bedfordshire. These are like subscription services, but your university will have signed up for at least one of them, because they want you to reference appropriately.
So you just use your institution login basically, and then it's free for you.
Get it free uni.
Pre-read before lectures, you have to do it. It sucks. It's boring sometimes. You think, oh god, like it'll be fine. do all your pre-reading. It will make everything so much easier. I mean, I don't know how you do it, but I do the pre-reading, I make notes on the lecture, and then when I go in, I'm not sat there trying to scramble everything down. I can add to my existing notes,
and
kind of anecdotal things, and you think, oh, that's really interesting, that wasn't on the PowerPoint, and you can kind of piece things together, and it just enhances your notes so much more.
That's exactly
and
how
the
I did it.
pre-reading is there for a reason. It's to make it easier in the class, so you're not playing catch up.
Yeah, it just means, no, that's exactly how I used to do it. So when I was doing, especially like with the more learning subjects, so like anatomy and physiology, I would always go over the pre-reading PowerPoints first, make notes on those. If the lecture slides were available, read the lecture slides, do any sort of outside reading, made sure I understood like the topics that were going to be covered in the lecture. And then you could go to the lecture and you could be present in the lecture, really listen to what the lecturer is talking about.
And
ask questions, ask questions. So if there's something you didn't understand in the pre-reading, that's your chance to ask it. And you just take in way more information and you contribute to the conversation in the lecture more, and it makes you look smarter.
Yeah.
People really thought I knew so much about anatomy and physiology, well, to be honest, I did an extra year of it. But like, and then I also, even though I'd done it before, I still did the pre-reading, and you just learn so much more that way, and it just, going over it more times consolidates your knowledge, and you're more likely to know it and remember it. And obviously that's better because then you take it to practice, you apply it, and then you just know it like the back of your hand, basically. What's next? Use journal databases and write essays. So this actually sort of goes in hand with our point about the referencing tool. So you should be writing your assignments using academic, peer-reviewed journal articles, textbooks for like the core stuff, but like I barely use textbooks.
I think the only one I did was for anatomy and prompt.
Yeah,
for
that's
emergencies.
Because you should not be using you shouldn't be using just basic websites. If you Google something and it comes up on a website, that's not a reliable source. A reliable source comes from a peer-reviewed academic journal. Most of them you will be able to find through the databases Science Direct and Google Scholar. You don't need a login for Google Scholar. You can use that for free.
I live by it. For first year I didn't really use it.
Yeah.
I just used the library search for my uni. And then I did Google, and it's literally changed my life, and the quality of my essays has shot up. It's really shown in my work.
Obviously, I'm a big fan of Science Direct. I've been using Science Direct since I was studying biomed. That's when I sort of got to know Science Direct. They recommended that as the best database, and I absolutely love it. Because with your university should have you should be able to use your institution login for Science Direct. Most universities, or like PubMed. We didn't have access to PubMed, but I used it a bit because I used my friend's certificates from the University of Bedfordshire. Because I had that before, I was used to using PubMed and Science Direct and Google Scholar. They provide, you just type in your keywords or what you're looking for, and it will bring up all these journal articles. And like it will say British Journal Midwifery, or Midwifery, the journal, or like...
Just any
for whatever topic you're looking for, and you can see that it's like a legit article, it's got references, and that is what you're looking for, those articles, because those are the ones that you can then critique, and it just means that you're using the best possible sources, you're using evidence-based information, and you'll get the higher grades that way.
Self-simulate clinical skills. Okay, so obviously we're in a global pandemic. No one signed up for that, but we've got it. And obviously a lot of it is virtual learning, which is easy said than done because we're a practical job.
I'm so glad to be out of uni now.
I'm sure. I mean, at least I did my clinical skills for us is in first year, and then we did our emergencies in second year. So I've kind of done the main bulk.
Yeah,
I got away with it.
We got away with it.
But it's really hard, especially if you're first year going in. You may not have the opportunity to go into a skills lab and practice stuff. So again, you're not going to have like a fake abdomen or something at home, but I don't know what.
Put a pillow in a jumper.
Yeah, and knitted boobs.
Get
like for breastfeeding, for your oskies.
Like I did IM injections with a pen. I made Adam come and I was like, he's my brother. Obviously I did not do it like that.
That reminds you of those pencils, and then you like get it.
Yeah, I had one of those. I literally like I had one of the pens which is like looks like a syringe, and I used it. Like I did like the whole osky on my brother. And like obviously because it was giving medication, the 5 rights, and said it to him.
Yeah.
And you can film yourself doing it. I did that for a lot of mine too. Would just film myself doing things like the aseptic technique.
Or even just like getting a pillow and just practicing like
palpation, yeah.
Yeah, or like put a doll and then put something over it. Get a doll, label the doll. That's really good.
Yeah, for the fetal skull and stuff.
I mean, to be honest, online you can buy like fetal skulls, pelvises.
But I don't think you need that.
You don't need it, but if you want to, like, that is
Yeah.
available. But Zoom your friends and kind of give each other scenarios and kind of just talk through it.
Peggy and I did that all the time.
Yeah, it's like the best thing you'll do. And then when you get to practice, it won't be as scary. I mean, the first time you do anything, it's a bit like...
And obviously it'll be extra scary for you guys because you wouldn't have had as much placement time as...
Yeah, so really prepare as much as you can. Just do RCMI learning is amazing and it's free, if you remember.
So yeah, the next one is learn your common acronyms. So Amy's found a good link, and I'm going to link that in the description along with some other stuff that will be helpful.
Yes.
But acronyms and phrases in placement can be really confusing.
Because we speak a completely different language.
One of the girls I follow on Instagram put a picture up of one of her notebooks from first year with like words in that she didn't understand, and I want to get mine back out and look through what were the words which I didn't understand. Like I remember like PT, I was like, what the heck is PT? PT is preeclampsia, but obviously it doesn't make sense because it's like should it just be PE, but PE is something else. PE is a pulmonary embolism.
And I remember ARM. It was like for ARM. I was like, for arm.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean? Like,
or like
she doesn't have an arm.
Yeah.
Strom.
I remember even like, unless this is an acronym, but like Bishop score. So I spent the most of my first year on the midwifery led unit. So obviously we don't do any inductions of labour, so we don't use the Bishop score. I just sort of like, you're however many centimetres dilated. And then I did a few GIFs on the label and I was like, what the hell is a Bishop score? A Bishop score is like a way to score how favourable the cervix is for induction of labour. But I was like, what the heck is that? So I'd written it down, and then I could ask the midwives what it was. Maybe I'll make a list of some common acronyms for you guys, but obviously you've got these links.
It is a whole language, but you will surprise yourself how quickly you pick it up. I mean, I was quite lucky when I started uni. I was already a maternity care assistant, so I was kind of familiar. But even then, just kind of knowing the language, even if you don't completely understand why we do things and when we do things and the rationale, you can pick up and say, oh, that's what that is. And like you can kind of insert yourself into the conversation a little bit more. And you'll learn a lot more as well if you kind of understand what they're actually talking about.
Yeah, it suddenly makes sense. I literally forgot that was a thing, like being a first year and not understanding what was happening. But now I'm like, oh yeah, it's just normal words.
But yeah, we'll put links down below. But if you just Google like midwifery acronyms, there's all over, and I think I've got an app somewhere. It's got a list.
Oh,
that
really?
literally,
I think that's what I just had.
Yeah, and I'd say with that, when you start placement, get a blank set of notes because there's always acronyms.
Yes, I had one of those.
In notes, and there's general information for women. If you understand what you've got to tell women, then you'll understand it yourself.
Yeah.
So
that's
because you gave me some blank notes.
Yeah.
I mean, it turned out it wasn't the notes that I was going to be using for placement, but
still had the information. I still got them. I
just threw them out yesterday.
I had a load of blank notes. I think I've got another one at home as well still. I think it's still in my room. And we don't use the same notes anymore actually because we've gone paperless. But there used to be this big green, if you know the Perinatal Institute notes, I think lots of trusts use them. And they were like a big green booklet of stuff. And I made a fake woman and I filled in all her details. I think I called her like Sarah Clark or something. And she was like a Gravida 1, Para 2, whatever. And I literally wrote it all in as if like I was doing her appointments.
Gravida 1, Para 2?
She could have had twins.
Oh yeah,
she sorry. Could have just had
sorry.
Twins. Shut up.
And lastly, don't expect to know everything. It goes without saying, nobody knows everything. I don't know
I've just finished the degree. I've literally know about this much compared to
this is the thing with midwifery. You will always be learning. You will learn something new every single day.
It's the best part about the job, to be honest.
And that's really exciting because I feel if you ever get to a point where you feel like you know everything, you get complacent and then that's when mistakes happen. So you constantly ask questions. Don't feel like, oh, I'm going to be that annoying student. We've all been there. We've all asked silly questions.
They want you to ask questions. Like, if you don't ask questions, midwives will be more concerned.
Exactly. Don't assume that you know, like, just say, well, I just want to double check this because you need to be safe at the end of the day. And especially in first year, no one expects you to know anything. So if you do all the things that we've talked about, they'll be like, wow. Yeah, she's really prepared. Like, you know,
wow, she's really good.
Wow, she's really good.
So
we're on the
TikTokers, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, don't panic. Enjoy first year.
100%.
Looking back, first year, man,
I don't even remember.
what a breeze.
What did I even do at first
Because it does
year?
ramp up, it goes without saying, each year it really does
Yeah.
level up, and the jump from first to second year is quite a big jump.
Boy,
so I'd say
second year.
I've survived it, so it's fine.
It's a
But
time.
for first year, just really enjoy it
Mhm.
because you've really got someone
Yeah.
holding your hand every second.
And it
of
doesn't
the
count
day.
to the end of your
Yeah.
degree. So
Don't stress too much. Just embrace it and absorb everything like a sponge.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I can say about first year. It will be fine.
yeah,
You'll be fine.
You'll be absolutely fine.
We've all done it.
Yeah. And if you want to see how my first year went, I have a YouTube video about it. I'll link it. I'll put that on the end screen.
But even now, we did a Q&A and I was just started my
Just
first
started.
year, and looking back, I'm like,
Wow.
wow, look at us.
Look at us. Who would have thought?
Now me.
Dammy.
So yeah, just enjoy it, make friends, get to know the staff, make lots of cups of tea.
Yeah, it's just easy.
Really get to know the staff because they are the
But
people
they
that will
might
get
not be
you
going to
through this.
placement. I don't know when you guys
When you
go
go
to
to
placement.
placement.
Hopefully everything will change.
I don't want to drag this pandemic up again.
No.
I'm sorry.
Let's end the video.
I'm sorry to these people.
Right, so that's the end. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank
I've just
you.
been playing with this the whole time.
Amy, thank you for coming along. I
Thank
really
you for
appreciate it.
having me.
Please follow
Okay.
Amy on Instagram at withwonderfulwomen. Follow me, listen to my podcast,
Yeah,
like the video, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Good luck if you're starting uni this year.
you'll be fine.
We're always on Instagram. If you want to DM us, any questions, comment down below, all of that stuff. And I'm sure you guys will be good. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you later.
Bye.